Hi everyone. I know there are a bunch of different apps and tools to help people with personal budgeting, but here's just a little thing that I've made on Microsoft Excel, really easy to put together, that helps me plan my cash flow going into the future. So I'm going to use some made up numbers for this, and you basically take from this what you want. So the way it's set it up, got a brand new Microsoft Excel worksheet. I'd start off with date and the item and the amount. And with this, I'll just load in, you could do it for a whole year. We'll just do it for 2 or 3 months just to get the idea. I'll just sort of identify the things that, I know are likely to cash flows that I know that are likely to be received or that I'll have to pay in the next 3 months, 12 months, whatever it happens to be. That it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be a rough estimate of where you think it's going to be. So for example, pay, say if I know that I'm going to get paid on the 2nd of January 2016, so I'll put in pay and it's $2,000. So that's the $2,000 inflow. Now, if I know I get paid every fortnight, and for those who are on regular wages or salary, you'll know what your pay cycle is. You can actually add based on dates. So I've added 14 to the 2nd of January. That gives me the 16th of January, and I can just, going to the bottom right hand corner, I can just drag that down until we get to, where is it? Let's just do it to March. So let's just do it for 3 months. So 2nd of January, 16th, 30th of January, 13th of Feb, 27th Feb, 12th of March, 26th March. Double click on the bottom corner just to drop that down, and double click on the corner to drop that down. So that's got our dates for pay and the amount in there. Now, another big item that most of us have will be some sort of payment for housing, whether that be rent or for mortgage, whatever it happens to be. So let's say our rent payment is due on the 5th of January 2016. So that's rent, and it's $600 a fortnight. Take it down, take it down. So show our rent on the various dates that that's going to go out. Other things we're likely to have are things like phone bills. So we'll take it as the 31st of January, 29th of February, I should say, and the 31st of March. Phone, minus 100, minus 100, minus 100. What else? We could have, we know we're going to take out money every week. So we'll do 1st of January 2016. We'll have an ATM and we'll take out $250 a week. So we add 7. We'll take that all the way down. So you get the gist of it. You can add in whatever you want to add in. You can have the amounts whatever you want to put in. But the idea is to initially figure out the sort of things, and this takes some looking over what you spend and what you bring in. So roughly what you think you're going to bring in for pay, what you're going to be paying on rent, on phone, ATM, utilities, car loans, credit cards, whatever it happens to be, you can put that in there. Now, a problem that we have is if you look at the dates, they're not in order at the moment. So this doesn't actually mean anything. And we want to get this ordered out. So we could select A through C, data sort. This doesn't make a lot of sense. Even though we sorted by date, we've got March, then January. And so I'm going to Control Z to take it back to what it was. And the reason that's taken place is This first cell is 2nd of January 2016. You can see that up here. But the second cell is not the 16th of January 2016. It's the cell above it, which at the moment is the 2nd of January 2016 plus 14. So if we change what's in front of it, that's going to change the value of this cell. So to deal with this problem, before we sort them, I'm going to select column A, go to home, copy, or you could control C, paste, and paste values, and enter. So now the 16th of January is the 16th of January. It's not A2 plus 14. It's actually that date. So we can now sort properly. So data, sort, and we're now sorted. So that's step 1, is putting the information in. Step 2, we want to add a cumulative amount. And it's probably good also if we put in whatever your opening balance was. So if you know what your account balance was at the start of the year, let's say opening $100. So the cumulative is just we're going to get a running total of what the amount in the account is. So for the first date, it would just be the opening. For all dates after that, it would be the item above, or the cell above, plus whatever the amount for that item. And then we can just double left click on the bottom right corner, and that will complete the cumulative running total. The thing that makes this quite handy is to insert a graph based on this. So select D, Control, select A, insert a line, 2D line, and this is actually the more useful thing. So I'll just delete that. And so what we're seeing is you're seeing the cash balance moving over the year. And you can identify any time when it goes negative. You can also identify it from looking up here. And you can see on the 1st of January, if we take out $250, we're going to run into trouble. We can also see that, say at this point in time, just after you've been paid, you've got $2,750. But it's not like you go off and spend $2,750, because by the time your next pay comes through, you're down to $1,650. So you know you can't really do any, you can't spend all of that because a lot of it is already earmarked. And this allows you to figure out when certain things have got to happen. You can also add stuff in. So say for example on the 1st of Feb, you've got a $4,000 cost for something. We don't know what that is. We'd come up to the cell above it in cumulative, and we just drag it down, not just to the cell next to it, but to the cell after it as well. And so what we can see is we can start to plan around this. We know that with this cost that's going to happen here, we're going to be going negative. We can tell when we're going to be negative. It's going to be sort of mid-Feb, and we're going to be negative to the tune of $1,500. So then we can start to work out a situation earlier in the year to deal with this happening at this point in time, rather than getting to a day or two before this takes place and having to deal with it in a really short space of time, which may well lead to borrowing at rates of interest which are far higher than what you could have got had you pre-planned some of this. And that's pretty much, I mean, you can do more of this, you know, as things change, as you know exactly what's going on. You know, you might have taken out 270, so you can actually show that, and you can see the graph move slightly. I'll cancel that out, and you can see the graph move up a bit. So, you know, as these things become known, you can put that in. You can certainly augment it and add more detail as needed. But the main idea is to come out with something which looks like this, so you can see where you're going. Doesn't have to be perfect, but it's a tool which you can use to forecast what your cash situation is going to be into the future.